9/11 in 12 minutes, the day that changed the world forever. September 11, 2001. A clear Tuesday morning in New York City turned into one of the darkest days in modern history. Within just a few hours, the world witnessed a tragedy that would shape the 21st century, the terrorist attacks on the United States, known simply as 9/11. Planes turned into weapons. Skyscrapers collapsed into dust. Nearly 3,000 innocent lives were lost. And from that moment on, nothing was ever the same again. In today's video, we'll take you through the story of 9/11, what happened that day, how it unfolded, the incredible acts of heroism, the unanswered questions, and the lasting impact on our world. Stay with us as we revisit the day that changed history forever. Section 1, the morning of September 11th. The day began like any other. It was a bright, sunny morning across the east coast of the United States. People commuted to work, children headed to school, and flights took off as scheduled. Among those flights were 4 commercial airliners. What nobody knew was that these planes had been hijacked by 19 terrorists associated with the extremist group Al-Qaeda. Their plan was to carry out the deadliest terrorist attack the world had ever seen. The hijackers deliberately chose early morning flights, because planes leaving at that time were fully loaded with fuel for cross-country journeys. This ensured maximum devastation upon impact. They also targeted symbols of American power, financial, military, and political, to send a message not only to the US, but to the entire world. Section 2, the first plane 8:46 a.m. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. At first, many thought it was a freak accident, a plane gone off course. News channels scrambled to report, and viewers around the world tuned in, confused but curious. But within minutes, the truth became clearer. This was no accident. Inside the North Tower, thousands of people were trapped above the impact zone. The stairwells were destroyed, cutting off any escape. Many were forced to make impossible choices, some waving from windows for rescue that would never come, others making heartbreaking phone calls to loved ones. Section 3, the second plane 9:03 a.m. At 9:03 a.m., the world watched live as United Airlines Flight 175 slammed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact created a massive explosion, sending fireballs and debris raining down on the streets of Manhattan. At that moment, everyone knew, America was under attack. Millions of people saw the second impact live on television, making 9/11 one of the most visually documented tragedies in human history. That moment seared itself into global memory, symbolizing vulnerability in a nation considered the world's superpower. Section 4, Panic and Chaos. New York City descended into chaos. Office workers ran for their lives, choking on dust and smoke. First responders, firefighters, police officers, paramedics, rushed toward the burning towers, determined to save as many people as possible. Meanwhile, the world watched in disbelief. Families clutched their loved ones, trying to make sense of the unimaginable. While most were running away, over 400 emergency responders went in. Many never came out. Firefighters carried equipment weighing more than 60 pounds, climbing dozens of flights of stairs to help strangers. Their bravery became one of the most defining symbols of 9/11. Section 5, the Pentagon 9:37 a.m. As the situation unfolded in New York, another tragedy struck. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense. The unthinkable was happening. Symbols of American power were being attacked one by one. The Pentagon's reinforced structure prevented greater casualties. Still, 125 people inside the building and 59 passengers on the plane lost their lives. The attack demonstrated that no U.S. institution was beyond reach. Section 6, Flight 93, The Heroes in the Sky. At 10:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Its target was believed to be either the White House or the U.S. Capitol. But this plane never reached its destination. Why? Because the passengers fought back. Realizing what was happening through phone calls to their families, the passengers of Flight 93 stormed the cockpit in an act of extraordinary bravery. Though they perished, their sacrifice prevented an even greater disaster in Washington, D.C. The cockpit voice recorder revealed passengers saying prayers, shouting, "Let's roll," and fighting to the end. Their courage has since been immortalized as one of the first acts of resistance in the War on Terror. Section 7, The Collapse of the Twin Towers. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed, sending a massive cloud of dust and debris across Manhattan. Less than 30 minutes later, at 10:28 a.m., the North Tower also fell. The sight of the towers crumbling shocked the world. New York's skyline was forever altered, and thousands of lives were lost in those moments. The collapse generated seismic waves equivalent to a small earthquake. Survivors described the sound as a roar, like thunder, as the towers fell. The iconic steel structures, once considered unshakable, crumbled in less than 12 seconds each. Section 8, Human Stories and Heroism. Amid the horror, there were stories of incredible heroism. Firefighters climbed the burning towers, carrying heavy gear, determined to rescue those trapped above. Ordinary citizens guided strangers to safety. Some gave up their own chances of escape to help others. On the ground, volunteers rushed in with water, masks, and first aid, forming a bucket brigade to help rescue workers. Therapy dogs worked tirelessly to locate survivors. In some cases, people who escaped returned to help others, knowing they might not survive a second time. Section 9, Immediate Aftermath. By the end of September 11th, nearly 3,000 people were dead. Millions were traumatized. And the United States, and the entire world, were left in shock. Flights were grounded nationwide. The stock markets closed. Families searched for loved ones among the rubble. Vigils and memorials sprang up across the globe. The fires at Ground Zero burned for nearly 100 days before being fully extinguished. Cleanup efforts took months, and many first responders later developed serious health conditions due to toxic dust exposure, another hidden cost of 9/11. Section 10, Global Impact. The attacks changed everything. In the US, national security was redefined. The Department of Homeland Security was created, airport screenings became stricter, and surveillance increased. Internationally, the attacks led to the War on Terror, the US invasion of Afghanistan, and eventually the Iraq War. Geopolitics in the 21st century was reshaped in the aftermath of that single day. More than 60 countries lost citizens in the attacks, making 9/11 a truly global tragedy. It was not only an attack on the US but on humanity itself. The ripple effects included stricter immigration policies, the spread of anti-terror laws, and a shift in global alliances. Section 11, Conspiracies and Unanswered Questions. Over the years, 9/11 has also fueled countless conspiracy theories. Some question how the towers collapsed. Others wonder about intelligence failures before the attacks. While official investigations concluded that Al-Qaeda was solely responsible, the lingering doubts and alternative theories show how deeply 9/11 scarred the public consciousness. The 9/11 Commission report, published in 2004, detailed failures in intelligence sharing between U.S. agencies. Some conspiracy theories gained traction because people felt the official story left gaps. Whether accurate or not, these doubts reflect the profound mistrust that emerged after the attacks. Section 12, Remembering the Victims. Every year, on September 11th, the world pauses to remember the victims. The names of the nearly 3,000 men, women, and children are read aloud in memorial ceremonies. The 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York City stands as a testament to their memory, ensuring they are never forgotten. It's important to remember that behind the statistics were real people, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, friends, and colleagues. Among the victims were 343 firefighters, 72 law enforcement officers, and 55 military personnel. Their sacrifice has become a symbol of duty and honor. Many survivors and families continue to struggle with the long-term trauma, reminding us that 9/11's pain did not end on that day. Section 13, Lessons from 9/11. The legacy of 9/11 is complex. It exposed the vulnerability of even the most powerful nation in the world. It showed the courage of ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. And it reminded us how quickly the course of history can change. It also serves as a warning that vigilance, unity, and compassion are essential in a world where tragedy can strike unexpectedly. Despite the devastation, 9/11 also sparked acts of global solidarity. From London to Lagos, from Sydney to Sao Paulo, people lit candles, held vigils, and declared, "We are all Americans today." It was a moment of shared humanity rarely seen before or since. Conclusion. September 11, 2001, will always be remembered as the day the world stood still. A day of horror, but also a day of heroism. More than 2 decades later, we still feel its impact, on politics, on security, on society, and in our hearts. The story of 9/11 is not just about destruction. It's about resilience. It's about how people, even in their darkest hour, found courage, compassion, and strength. As we remember the lives lost and honor the heroes of that day, one truth remains clear: we must never forget. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Uncovering Facts for more deep dives into history that shaped our world.